I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on surface area and volume of cylinders. Now, globally, I see that everybody in grade 8 will be doing surface area and volume of cylinders. So I've taken up 15 questions. I'll make 4 or 5 videos with these 15 questions so that you can understand all the concepts of surface area and volume for cylinders. So we'll begin with these 4 questions. You need a calculator for answering most of them. I'd like you to pause the video, copy these questions, and then look into my suggestions. Round all your answers to nearest tens. Question 1. Find surface area and volume of cylinder with radius of 3 cm and height of 4 cm. Let me give you the formulas for both. Surface area for a cylinder is, we have two surfaces which are circular, so 2 pi r square plus 2 pi r h. So that is the surface area of a cylinder, where r is the radius and h is the height. As far as the volume is concerned, volume is equal to area of the base, which is pi r square, times height. Right. So that is how the formula is. I hope you know it. Let me just sketch a cylinder here to provide you with the dimensions. Right. So let's say we have a cylinder. We are assuming that both surfaces are covered. Right. So these two circles are pi r square, what we are talking about. Correct. So cylinder, we have taken generally height of h and the radius of r. Radius, as you know, is half the diameter, correct? So these are the relations which you might need. The value of pi in this formula is 3.14, which you can use in all the questions. Question number 2. Find height of cylinder of radius 4 if volume is 100.5 meter cube. Question 3. Find radius of a cylinder of height 6 if volume is 170 meter cube. So in these two questions, if you see, we are talking about volume. We have given the volume, and in one case we gave you the radius to find height. In the other case, we are giving you the height to find the radius. Question number 4. Find the dimensions of a 201 meter cube capacity cylinder. So volume is given. Cylindrical tank if its height and diameter are equal, right? So we want height and diameter to be equal. So to start with, these are very interesting questions. I hope you have already copied them, try to answer them, and then look into my suggestions. After this, you should look into my part 2 and 3, where we'll talk about applications and change of units. In this exercise, we are keeping same units. Okay, let's begin with the question number 1 itself. The surface area and volume of a cylinder with radius 3 and height 4. So let's sketch one cylinder. So we have radius 3 and height 4. Let's say that is the cylinder we're talking about. So in all cylinders, we're assuming that it has both the top lid and the bottom lid, right? Sometimes in your examples, they may be talking only about one of these two lids. Right? So in this particular case, we are talking about two things. That is, radius is 3 centimeters. So this side is 3 centimeters radius. Let's write this as 3 centimeters here, which is from here to here, right? Diameter is 6 and the height is 4 centimeters. You need to use a calculator to calculate surface area and volume, right? So basically, if you have to find the surface area, you cut open this cylinder, right? So when you cut open, this is a circular path. It kind of opens like this, right? So this thing spreads out, and so you can actually put it right on this paper and then find the area, and this is called the lateral area. Let me call this as lateral area. curved surface, right? This is a curved surface. Some terms which will normally be used. And if you cut open, this height will remain as 4 centimeters. However, this length will be equal to how much? 2 pi r, since that is the circumference of a circle. So this length from here to here will be 2 pi r, correct? The circumference of the circle. And that will give you an area. When you multiply this 2 pi r with height h, you get 2 pi r h, correct? So that becomes the one of these areas, right? This is the lateral area. Let me call AL. Now when you cut open, this is one circle you'll get. So you'll also get a circle here on one side. Let's draw one circle here and the other circle on the other side. Now these circles will have area of how much? Both will be exactly same. If r is the radius, then the area will be pi r square, and this also pi r square, correct? So that explains you the formula for surface area. So that explains that surface area should be how much? This plus 2 pi r. So we have to add pi r square with pi r square with 2 pi r h. Do you see that? All the three areas should be added. So you get 2 pi r square plus 2 pi r h. So that is the formula for surface area. So let me rewrite here surface area formula for you. Perfect. Now in our case, we are already given radius and the height. So in our case, radius is 3 centimeters and height is 4 centimeters. We'll replace r and h with 3 and 4 respectively and get our solution. So we get 2 pi, r is 3, so 3 square plus 2 pi, 3 times 4, correct? Now we can just use the calculator and find the answer. Now it's not a bad idea to use pi as pi. Sometimes we get the exact value. 3 square is 9, 9 times 2 is 18, gives you 18 pi, plus 3 times 4 is 12, 12 times 2 is 24 pi. And adding these, 4 plus 8 is 12, 2 and 1, 42 pi. So that is what you get, 42 pi, and pi value being 3.14. So always take pi as 3.14. Also, you could take it as 22/7. Now, as you can see in this calculation, 22/7 is a very good value to take, which is more accurate than 3.14. So, let me use 22/7 and show you the calculations. So if I use 22/7 for pi, see what happens. 42 times 22/7. Now I don't even need a calculator. 7 goes 6 times, and 6 times 22 is 6 times 2 is 12, and then 132 units will be centimeters square. You get an idea. So we get fairly good result just by using pi as 22/7. Now let us use calculator just to verify. So we'll use the calculator. Start here, 2 pi r square. So 2 times pi, so you can see pi on my calculator, times r is 3, 3 square, plus 2 times pi times 3 times 4, right? So we have substituted each and every value. It gave us 42 pi, and if I convert it to decimals, it gives me 131.9. So it actually gives me 131.94. Perfect. Do you see that part? But you will notice here that using 22/7 gives me 132 centimeters square, which actually is more accurate. Correct? Now, the question was to round to 1/10th place, right? So if I round to the 10th place, I do get 131.9 as my answer. However, 132.0 may be good enough. So here is a slight problem in rounding to the whole number. So we will prefer to write this as 132.0 centimeters squares instead of 131.9. So I rely more on 22 by 7 as the value of pi. Perfect. Okay, so one part done. I took time mainly to explain you the concept. We'll move much faster later, but I hope you got the whole concept. We have derived the formula for surface area here, right? And we have also seen how pi equals to 22 by 7 helps us to find easier calculations without calculator. Perfect. Now let's do the next one. We need to find the volume. Now volume is area of the base times height. Now it is a circle, so area of the base is pi r square and height is h. So we can multiply pi with the radius 3 square, and height of 4 to get our result. Correct? Let's use the calculator. This time I'm going to use 3.14 for pi, times it with 3 square, and then times it with 4. And what do we get? In decimals, we get the value which is 113.04, which could be rounded to 113.0. Now, the last part here is about units. We have used centimeter, r square h. That means centimeter cube. So always when you have volume, write cubic units, and for area, square units. Perfect. So I hope that gives you fairly good idea to calculate basic surface area and volume for a given cylinder. Correct? Let's move on and take some interesting questions which can be tricky. Question number 2. Find height of cylinder of radius 4 if the volume is 100.5 meter cube. Take pi as 3.14. So the question is, you need to find height. You know the radius is 4. The units are, let's write meter since the volume is given meter cube. And the volume is 100.5 meter cube, right? So we'll write meter for radius also. So that is what is given to you. And also the formula is pi r square h for the volume, right? Now with this information, you need to find the height. The value of pi will be taken as 3.14. You can also take 22 by 7 if you're not using calculator. Perfect. So okay, so these are all the things provided to you. Now what should you do? Well, we know that the volume is pi r square h. So some of us can isolate h. Do you understand? That is to say, on both sides, I could divide by pi r square and pi r square. So in that case, this pi r square cancels and we get h equals to v by pi r square. Let me write this as volume by pi r square. So on right hand side, we have everything which is known to us, right? So we have the volume which is 100.5, right? Let me use meter cube units also. It becomes interesting. And pi is 3.14 and r is 4 meters square. So 4 meters square, and we have to square 4 also, right? So 4 meter, both are squared. Okay, so that is what it is. Now you will notice in the units, meter cube and meter square, two of them will cancel. We get only meters as the units for height. And now let's use calculator to find the answer. We have 100.5 divided by 4 squares. Let's divide by 4 square first. And then result we'll divide by 3.14. So use your calculator and get the answer in decimals. So it is 2.00, right? So, and meters. So it is just 2 meters. So we get height equals to 2 meters, correct? So that is how you could actually use the calculator and find the answer. Is rearranging this formula. Well, some of you, if you're not rearranging, substituting the direct values can also help. So we have volume is pi r square h. Volume is 100.5. You could write like this, equals to 3.14. Radius is 4 square right? And height. So now you need to find height. So height should be how much? It should be 100.5 divided by 3.14 times 4 square. This is exactly what we calculated. Do you see that? 100.5, 3.14, 4 square in the denominator. Perfect. So you'll again get 2.0 meters in your answer. So it is not necessary to rearrange the formula. You can substitute the values and find the result just as we did. Perfect. Let's move on to question number 3. Now this time, find radius. So we need to find what radius is of a cylinder of height 6. So again, I've not given the height. Let it be meters unit, right? 6 meters. That's a typing error. Volume is given to us as 170 meter cube. We need to take the value of pi as 3.14. We know volume is pi r square h. So if you want to rewrite the formula for radius, you could do it. It's just more complicated, but you could do it. For example, you could write this as 4 by pi h as r square, and to get the value of r, we'll have to square root volume divided by pi h. So that becomes the formula, slightly more complicated. But anyway, in this case, what we are going to do is we'll straight away write the values. Volume is equal to pi r square h, and we'll substitute the values. Volume is 170 for us, pi is 3.14, radius we don't know, so we'll write r square, and height is 6, right? So height is 6. So now we'll multiply 6 with 3.14, 6 times 4 is 24, 2, 8, 6 times 3 is 18, r square. So we have 170 divided by 18.84 is equal to r square. So let's divide. 170 divided by 18.84 gives us in decimals a value which is 9.02 equals to r square. So if r square is 9, what is r equals to? It is square root of 9. You can say 9, right? 0.02 if you want to. And you know this square root is equal to 3. So we get r equals to 3 meters in our case. Do you see that? So the values are so taken that it is meant for easier calculation. So more or less you get round answers. Since we have to round our answer to one decimal place, we will be writing 3.0 meters. Okay. So don't forget that. In the beginning, we gave you a small note. All answers to the 10th. So you have to round your answers to one decimal place. Find the dimensions of a 201 meter cube capacity cylindrical tank if its height and diameter are equal, right? So we are given the volume as 201 meter cube, right? And we are given height equals to diameter, right? Diameter is 2 times radius. That is what we are given. So that is the twist in the equation. Let us see how to solve this, right? So what we are saying here is that height is equal to diameter. That means height is equals to twice radius. You need to find the dimensions. Now the formula is volume is pi r square h. Now if height is 2 radius, then we will write this as pi r square times 2r, correct? That is what will make a change. So volume will be 2 pi r cube when you multiply r square with r. Now we can substitute the value of the volume and find the radius, right? You get the concept. So this was slightly more complicated. I really wanted to take it in the next part, but since I made a typing error overlooked during solution, so I am providing you the solution for this particular question. Now we know the volume is 201. We know it is 2 pi, which is 3.14 r cube. So we can divide by 2 pi both sides, right? So when you divide by 2 pi both sides, then this 2 pi cancel, correct? And what you get here is 201 by 2 pi on the left side. You can divide by 2 also and get the result, but since we are going to use calculator, it is good enough to write like this. Is it okay? Pi is 3.14 and this is r cube. So let's use the calculator. So we'll divide 201 by first 2 and then we are going to divide by pi, which is 3.14 for you, right? So what we get here is 31.99. So we get 31.99 equals to r cube. To find the value of r, we'll do cube root of 31.99. Right? So I do have cube root on my calculator. So I'll do cube root of this number and I get 3.17 as my result. Right? So almost equivalent to pi. So the value of radius is 3.17. Right? So we get r equals to, you can write 3.2. Since we are rounding all our results to one decimal place, and therefore height will be 2 times 3.2, which is 6.4, and the units are in meters, right? So we get our answer, which is radius equal to 3.2 meters and height equals to 6.4 meters, correct? So that will be our answer for question number 4. I hope you have understood the complication involved when we use height equals to diameter, because then diameter is twice r, slight change, and that will change the result drastically. Now, if there are any confusion, let me know. Feel free to write your comments, share your views, and share my videos with your friends. And look forward to more participation. You can post any question which you want. We'll provide you the solution the next day. Feel free to write your comments and share your views. Thanks for watching and all the best.